Guys, welcome to another episode of The Candy Show. I'm your host, Candy. We have two special guests. Actually, we have a special co-host and we have a special guest. So first off, guys, I want you to welcome my special co-host. She's been on The Candy Show before several times. Last time she was on The Candy Show was in 2017. Guys, I want you to welcome Miss Terry's in the house.
Hey everybody, welcome, welcome, and I'm so glad to be back, Candy. Oh, this is so exciting.
Okay, okay, now, Miss Terry, before we go on, can you get a little bit more light on you? Because your face is like, it's a little dark.
Little more light. Let's see what we can do. I'm trying to get that natural
There you
light
go. There you go. That's it.
much
That's
better.
it. All right. Guys, and I want you to welcome a returning guest, no stranger to the Candy Show. He was on the show back in 2008 and 2009. Guys, I want you to welcome relationship coach. Relationship coach. Okay, so y'all already know what our topic is going to be today, right? Guys, I want you to welcome Mr. Brandon Jackson.
How y'all doing, family? Thank you for having
Welcome.
me. Thank you for
Welcome,
having me.
welcome. All right, now we're gonna. First off, I'm just my co-host Terry. Sit down for a second, just chill out, get you a little bit of water or something, whatever you want to drink. Okay, all right,
We got that. We got that. Okay,
okay.
let's go.
What you got, Brandon? What you got? What you got to eat? What you got to drink? Cause I'm drinking on some water here.
I got some Merlot.
Ooh, and Miss Terry, what do you have?
I have glorious strawberry daiquiri.
Oh man.
Okay,
Put
this conversation is gonna be dope and it's gonna be deep. I see
us
that.
in the mood. Yeah.
Woo. So first off, Brandon, let's tell a little bit about yourself. I know that you have your own platform as well, Grown Conversations. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. Well, before I do that, I want to thank you, Candy, for having me. Man, I've been knowing you for ages. We go back to high school. Yeah, way back. So I'm so amazed, and I'm so about what you're doing. I love your brand. Man, you're just doing some amazing things. Yeah. So thank you for having me on.
Absolutely.
Um, So I've been doing Grown Conversations since about 2016. Just saw a need to create a platform to where individuals can come together and talk about relationships and dating, and I incorporated some entertainment, but I took it a step further because I said, man, I really want to help people one-on-one. So I kind of branched off doing one-on-one with singles and couples, just being a guide to help them to get to the happiness that they desire. But I use Grown Conversations as a platform to create that space where people can come together and just open up about things that matter. And what's interesting is that you really haven't seen anything like this in Indianapolis. I got the idea back when I was on the panel with Lorenz Tate at the Women's Expo in 2010, and it was packed with women. And they were coming up to me, Brandon, this is great, thank you. And I said, I'm on to something. So some odd years later, I decided to do it. So here I am.
Okay, well, welcome. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
I wanted to make sure I got you on not only because you were a past guest on a couple of times of our show and you're a
Yeah.
great supporter, but I also wanted to make sure that I was able to extend a helping hand in order for me to help you get your brand out because you have a great thing going on. You've invited me a few times. Unfortunately, those times there were things going on and
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to come and sit in on your sessions.
Yeah.
But just a little bit about your sessions. Now, is there an age limit? Is it for married couples only? Tell us a little bit about that for those who might want to come in and just sit in either in person when you're ready to go back to
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
or when you're still doing virtual. Tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about
Well,
that.
it's open to adults, anybody 21 and over, singles, couples, married people, because the topics we talk about addresses everything, everybody. So, and what I discovered, everybody doesn't open up to just talking. So I incorporated some entertainment. I invite like artists to perform, on Grown Conversations, and just to get a bigger pool, I've had celebrities on, from Shantae Moore, uh, um, Abdul Williams, who wrote the New Edition films.
Right.
Um,
Mm.
Ian Burke just recently he discovered TLC, Outkast. So just different people that can be a pull. You know, as I continue to do Grown Conversations, my ultimate goal is to host Grown Conversations in different cities. I've done Grown Conversations in Atlanta. Um, you know, and so just trying to branch out. But my main thing is trying to grow what I do and work with people. You know, aside from Grown Conversations, because people want to continue that conversation about, hey, how can I find the happiness that I desire in
Right.
relationships and
Right.
dating?
Mm.
Miss Terry, you have any
Yeah,
questions?
yeah, I
Before
do,
Brandon?
Brandon. I do. Brandon, I want to know, what is it that you find the most that your platform is showing you personally? Is it that people just want to have that commonality, speak what they feel, and know that someone out there understands? Or is it that we really need the advice of how to be happy?
Well, going back to the women's expo that I was a part of, here's the thing. It was more women there, which lets me know that women, and I always tell men, brothers, it's on you. Women are available. Women are waiting for not the perfect man, but the right man who is right for them.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
I tell brothers all the time, it's not complicated. It's really not. Just keep it simple. So what I discovered is that after that experience that I had, you know, I wanted to create an atmosphere where it can be a consistent discussion ongoing. Not all the time, but once a month, every other month, where people will have an opportunity to talk about issues that matter. And they can
Mm-hmm.
contact me afterwards because, you know, Black folks, we're personal. You know, we like to keep things in-house. But at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, you know, we'll open up when we have that avenue, when we have the space to do so. I've had people come to Grown Conversations, get engaged, meet individuals. I've had people cry, hit me up. Thank you, Brandon, you know, for creating that space. And it's not about me, it's about the people. I always say that it's not about finding the right mate, but becoming the right mate. I'm using Grown
Ah.
Conversations to help people to become the right mate. Because here's the thing, that at the end of the day, people just want to find something that will grow and is consistent and will bring them happiness. It's not perfect. But what I do, I use Grown Conversations as a tool to start that that experience in people's lives that they want in terms of relationships.
All right.
Awesome.
So right now, guys, we're gonna do something here. And Brandon, I
Yes.
want to take us back to September 2008 when we had the Candy Internet Radio Talk Show. You were a guest.
Yeah.
So, and matter of fact, this was on our show on relationships. It was
Yeah.
Relationship Part 1. So, guys, let's hear what Brandon had to say. Brandon, how about you introduce yourself and you tell me what's going on with the relationship topic for you?
I would love to. My name is Brandon, and I'm actually a motivational speaker. I do various workshops on dating and how to be in healthy relationships and how to work towards marriage. I was recently married. I was recently married about a year ago, about a year and 8 months, and it's coming up on 2 years.
Fresh
and one thing that and I'm a success story. If you would have saw me maybe 3 years ago, met me and talked to me, you would have said, "Brother, there's no hope for you. There is no hope for you as far as getting yourself together, as far as dating and being in relationships and ever being married." But I'm a living testimony that, you know what, you can change and you can be in a healthy relationship. I think the one thing.
Come on now. Come on. Y'all hear that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that. You said, brother, you know, you can't change. Now, are you still married?
Yes, I am, and that's why I was laughing. I'm 14 years in. Yeah. 3
Wow,
kids.
congratulations.
Yes. So, and like I was saying in our discussion is that I'm a living testimony because here's the thing. And I observe. I've done workshops. I have my background in counseling. So this is something that comes from experience and just being trained in that area. Is that I think a lot of men, not all men, there are some good men out there, but a lot of men struggle with commitment. They struggle with being a man and putting away things that boys do and becoming a man. And they struggle with being with one woman, because I'm not gonna lie, there is a lot of temptations out there. And here's the thing: getting married is not the answer, because those temptations will only increase. And that's why I talk to brothers like, man, it took me about a year to clean house in terms of just working on myself, doing what I need to do. And even now as a married man, we made it to 14 years because I don't do a lot of stuff that I used to do when I was single. I understand what it means to meet the needs of a woman. I still date my wife. I still buy her flowers. I still buy her booty, and that. You know, we do stuff in the house because that's what creates longevity. And but I also want the women to know is that, you know what, you're a queen, you're valued, you're beautiful. Guard yourself. Set the bar high, make that brother work for you. I'm not saying that you should ignore every brother that you see, but here's the thing: there's a thing that a thing I do with people that I'm counseling that, you know, we could talk about later, that helps people narrow down what their wants are and what their needs are. And once you know that, you'll be okay. And so, like I said, it's not complicated. It's the, and I tell this to brothers, man, understand women, learn about women, because when you do that, a lot of mistakes that you're making, you won't make them no more when you understand and know how to treat a woman.
And Brandon, you say that, you know, you're talking to the guys a lot. I hear you talking to the guys, but, you know, there's a commonality that the women too have to understand, that there are good men out there, and they take advantage of them, and you have them just not really wanting to invest what it takes to be happy, but they want to be happy. And so, speaking from experience, I'm in a 23-year relationship, and it takes work. And it does get greater later. It does get greater as time goes on, because you become not only looking for happiness in the other person, but you find out to be the mate. You still find yourself being the mate, growing as the mate. And when you do that, you grow individually, don't you?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yeah. So win-win. Winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah.
Well, hold on now. You know, I'm single up in here.
That's okay.
You know, back in the day, I was having trouble. I ain't even gonna lie. And you know, I was having some trouble. But as I got older, recently, I realized that less stress, less drama, I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what's important to me now. But you have to take that time. You have to listen. You have to learn from those, I don't want to say mistakes, but those lessons.
Oh, yeah.
Lessons. Yeah.
You have to learn from those life lessons. But then at the same time, you're talking about being a queen and dating and all that other stuff. Well, let's see, Brandon, what do you think? You know, have we changed since 2008, 2009? Has that changed? Dating, relationships. Granted, you now have social media out there more. So has it really changed?
Yes, it has. And I think people need to go back to the basics. You know, yes, I know it's kind of hard to navigate because we're in the pandemic, but I mean, you still go out to the store, you still go to Starbucks, you still go to the gym. Learn how to engage with people. Learn how to speak to the brother who you've seen consistently the last 3 weeks at the gym, and you don't see no ring on his finger. Hey, how you doing? I see you up here all the time. What can you kind of help me with my next workout set? I'm trying, and that's coming from you. Women can holler at the brother, and that brother be like, oh yeah. So you still can navigate. But here's the thing, is that you have to eliminate the distractions. I was just having I'm keeping it real, 100. I was having a conversation with my wife today about how I've changed and evolved, because we were watching a game, some old episodes. That's a good show to watch if you want to learn about relationships. We were just watching some old episodes of the game, and I was just talking about how is it Pooch? A Pooch Hall, character was talking about some things you have to let go when you're trying to be with a female. One of the things was the strip club. I know about Magic City. I know about Montrose. I know about Jim because I went to school in Atlanta, and I recognize, you know, it's crazy because we were having a conversation like I had just got married, and a friend of mine invited me to his bachelor party. He said, we're going to have strippers. I had an open dialogue with my wife. Should I go? She said, it's on you. I didn't go. Because here's the thing. I was delivered from that. I can't roll like that if I'm trying to strengthen my marriage. And that's what I'm talking about. Eliminate the distractions that are holding you back from being happy. There's some things you have to let go when you want to be in a faithful relationship, especially married. So I think people need to look at what are the distractions in your life? Social media, exes, texting folks you don't need to talk to, going places you need to stay away from. So it has changed.
Well, let me say this. Now, you just mentioned something. Now, again, single, okay? I go to the gym, and I don't look at men as what you just said. That was a perfect example because, number one, who wears rings to work out anyway? I mean, if you do, then that's what you do, but most people don't. So how are you supposed to know if that person's married? However, when I go and I approach someone at the gym, that's the first thing I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about, can you help me work out? Now, it's on him how he's playing the situation because he knows if he's taken or not. Yeah. Now, I'm going to say something else. Social media and trying to get rid of all the distractions. Now, how can we do that when social media literally is now, even if the pandemic didn't make you know, social media is there. It's not going to go away. Whether you don't have an account on social media and your boys do or your girls do, and they tell you to look at this, X, Y, Z, it's there. Those temptations are there. Now, another thing I'm going to say. I agree with you in the very beginning. I believe, and I've always believed, that men, this is me, men control a direction of a relationship. I've always said that. The reason why I said that is because when a woman knows who she wants to be with, she will make those sacrifices, whatever sacrifices is, whether it's separating themselves from their family, their friends, just being more in tune with that man. He's going to know that. And so he knows that she wants to be with him, but then at the same time, he might not really want to make that commitment. So he knows that the woman's going to stay and be strong alone. And we're going to be like, okay, well, I'll wait 2 years, 5 years, 10 years until this man is ready. Then when the man is ready, then what? Then what? Hold on. I'm going to go back to another clip here. Speaking of what you just said.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely want to add something is that, you know, every relationship has a potential. It has potential to work. Right. It can. I mean, I tell a lot of my single friends, brother, men set the tone for the relationship. I mean, you really do. I mean, if the brother is doing what he's supposed to do, the sister's gonna follow his lead. Now, if homeboy starts to, you know, hang out at night, you know, he's calling other females and acting a fool, then your lady's gonna act a fool. And my wife is here to tell you that when I acted a fool, she acted a fool. So, but I had to make some adjustments.
Come on now. Isn't that what you said?
Yeah. Like I said, men set the tone. Men set the tone because here's the thing. Here's the thing. When I was kind of making my transition, you know, to really changing and becoming a better man, I read so many books. I studied about women. I read Proverbs 31.
Okay, come on now. Brandon got.
I read about.
Okay, all right.
I read about how to meet the needs of a woman, and so when I learned that, I had to adjust what I was doing, meaning being consistent.
Okay. Got a little technical difficulties, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Must be getting ready to spit out some really good knowledge here.
How about you go ahead, Terry? Go ahead and just get in on that real quick. What do you think? Do you think men control the narrative of a relationship?
Well, I think we've allowed them to control, but it's both of us. There's been a game between man and woman for years that, you know, you naturally play. And you allow this and he allows that. And, you know, it depends on your motives in it, whether you're being truthful, because a lot of times we want the truth, but we're not being truthful. And we expect so much, you know, and if the truth be told and about yourself, especially women, we rant and rave about what we want this happiness, but then we're not willing to get rid of the mess, you know, that we're dealing with. A lot of time women don't separate themselves, you know, make themselves available. All because you're single don't mean that you're available. You know, you can be tied up and wrapped up in all sorts of issue, things, drama, attitudes, ways, and you make it hard for yourself. You sabotage yourself is what a lot of women do. I'm not anti-man, not anti-man. It's a human thing, you know, and we want to make it man, woman, but we all play those games in the beginning. And when you grow up, like Brandon said, and become a better you, then you got more to offer for a relationship. It's not so much about what you're getting back, because you're becoming a better you, right? It ain't too much that you need to get, because you're becoming a better you. And you offer that time with your mate. So just my thought, and he's had some good, it's good that they have platforms. But, you know, as you asked me to be on the show, I started to thinking about, you know, has relationships changed, the definition of relationships? And to me, I'm 53. And like I said, I've been with my husband for 23 years now. And yes, in my eyes, relationships have changed. What people require in relationship is totally different than, he said, we need to go back to the basics. I want to add to that and say we need to go back to old school, where you know, you go back to the principles of being honest and, you know, being loyal, not just wanting your partner to be that, but you be that, you know, so that you can have that genuine happiness. You know, that's just where I'm at right there. So it looks like Brandon's
I'm not
back,
sure what
everybody.
happened. That's never happened before.
That's okay. That's okay.
Never.
Listen, we're in that technical, you know, that technology, and we're, you know, virtual is virtual. So we were just continuing, and Terry was giving her feedback to what you were talking about, and how her feedback was, is do the men control the relationship? And she basically said it's both parties, and she said that we need to not just go back, but we need to what? Start from the basics.
Old school. Go to the basics. To add with what you're saying, we need to go back to the basics. But I was thinking, you know, I don't see relationships defined the way they used to be.
No.
Like I said, I'm 53, and the younger generation, there's more allowed. So when you allow more in a relationship, you deal with more consequences in a relationship. And so what seems to be open and good and free is actually taxing and burdensome and detrimental for the longevity. You were at 14 years, so I know, you know, you're at a crux. You had a really important part of your relationship, not only in the relationship, but you as an individual, you know, because we're evolving, you know, constantly, you know, all the time. So, you know, it's just odd to see how, you know, younger relationships survive.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and interject here, guys. Thank you so much for staying in tune with the Candy Show. I'm your host, Candy. I have my special co-host here, Miss Terry's in the house.
Hey, everybody.
I also have a special guest, Brandon Jackson. Relationship coach. Both of them have been on the Candy Show before, and we're just, you know, we're just chopping up. We're talking about relationships, you know, while we're in this time of COVID and everything going on with social media, relationships is important. It's so important. And we're not talking about the relationship at work. We're really talking about more so as your relationship as it pertains to intimacy and those types of relationships. You know, so let me say this, guys.
This is crazy.
That's okay. You can get it straight. Listen, it goes in and out, and that's okay. It is what it is, and we can't control it, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about that, Terry. You brought up something. Listen, how long ago, from however long I know I can remember, getting back to the basics for some people may be adding special things to their relationship. I mean, I can tell you, even back when, as far as I can remember, on All in the Family, I remember Edith found this magazine and had this couple come over and thought that, you know, she didn't know what was going on, but they were talking about swinging. So what was that, back in the 60s, 70s and things like that?
Probably,
So
yeah.
how can you say, what is getting back to the basics and things like that, when back then you were talking about adding people in your mix? And right now, there is no shame to nobody's game anymore. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, I'm with this person. I'm with your man. I'm having babies by this person. And what? He got 50 million kids and what? I
But
mean,
Candy,
what's basic?
if I could say something, I believe the expert is on to advise people who desire to be in a relationship and to be happy. Everybody doesn't desire that.
Yeah.
So everybody's not a part of this club. So for them, they're on the outside, and until they make up in their minds that there's somebody that I want to spend the rest of my life with.
But
And
see,
but everybody doesn't want that, and that's okay. So this advice wouldn't work so much for somebody who's not ready. I mean, let's ask the expert, Brandon.
Yeah. I mean, I think what you talked about, Candy, is that people are trying to try different things to add spice in their relationships. But here's my thing, is that I feel that you're only doing that because you don't want to do the work to make your relationship. So we're gonna add extra stuff that is dangerous.
Wow.
You're opening up yourself to catch something you can't get rid of. And number two, it's emotionally dangerous for your spirit, because you're attaching yourself to other people who have no idea about who you are. I always think about that episode of Martin where he went to that party and he didn't know what kind of party it was, and they was like, hey, Martin was like, oh,
Yeah.
and because even I mean, Hollywood, I mean, they had enough sense to make an episode about, hey, we're gonna do this the right way. And going back to the old school, I mean, but check this out. There are people who've done that and are miserable. Because
but let's be honest. You do have a lot of open relationships, and a lot of the people that we didn't ever think could or would have, they were in and have been in what we assume and what they tell us, a happy relationship, marriage, open marriage, and things like that. So what is, again, normal? What's basic? What's back to the old school? What is it if you had those things?
Well, to me, when I reference back to the old school, was back to man and woman, one man, one woman. Like I said, developing a trusting relationship with each other. Like I said, developing a trusting relationship with each other. You know, not holding them accountable for your happiness, but becoming a better person, like Brandon teaches, so that you can be happy instead of asking them to provide you happiness. And you just be happy to share your life with this person. So my old school is 1 + 1 = 2, not 1 + 1 = menage a trois. No, that's not what I was referencing. I'm referencing monogamy. I'm referencing honesty. I'm referencing loyalty. I'm referencing things that are good for your spirit. I'm not talking about where you go to church. I'm just talking about the being that you are. And if you want to truly, and we're talking about chasing happiness, let's get rid of all the shallow background noise and get down to the crux of the matter, which is within you, you know? So if you're in a relationship, what are you bringing to the table? And if I'm asking you to provide me happiness, that means that I'm without. So what can I provide you?
Yeah.
So, you know, that's my back to old school. Not that back there, because mess has been going on since the beginning of time. You know, all of that sadistic and stuff, not to say that we haven't been tempted by it or even done it, but some have been pulled out of it. Some of us have survived the temptation and gone beyond it and know that it's not good for you. You know, some people got to live it out. But Brandon, like you said, keep talking and somebody's going to listen and take it to heart. A lot of times people want by popularity. We're all going to join by popularity. And it's only one or two that goes back home. And when they lay their head down at night, they take it for real. And when they wake up, they remember that I'm on a journey. I'm on a mission. I can't keep doing this. I can't keep thinking this way. I can't keep acting the ass and thinking everybody's going to treat me with roses.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. And I look at old school, back to basics, like, you know, the older generation, when something was broken, instead of throwing it away, they worked on it and fixed it. This generation, we throwing stuff away because it don't work. And my thing is, you committed to one job. You committed to I mean, most people who ain't rich, one car. You committed to one toothbrush. Well, be committed to one person.
Like toothbrush. Now, if you're really doing it with the toothbrush, you're supposed to change the toothbrush every 3 months.
Yeah, but you still got one.
But only use one at a time.
Right.
I mean, I'm not preaching, but I grew up. Hey, a man shall leave his mother, father, cling to one wife. You know, and the thing is, I'm just speaking for me. When I was in my 20s, I think I talked about this before. I dated, I had fun, and I was unhappy. I was unhappy because I wanted something so bad like commitment, but I didn't know what it meant and how to get there. And it wasn't until I took it upon myself to grow as a man, I met my wife, who was a virgin, and that's why, and not knocking anybody who didn't wait. I didn't wait, but I'm bringing this up to say that I met a woman who chose to guard herself, and she made me work, and I was enticed by that. And so I worked for my wife. And here's the thing. Anything you have to work for is worth having. So women, if that brother's gonna work for you, that's a brother worth keeping. Ladies, fellas, if you have to work for her, that's the woman you want versus somebody who you meet and they just letting you do whatever. Because it goes back to that song of BBD. I thought it was me. She like it with everybody else, and you don't want to be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Let me switch let's switch here. And you brought up women. Now I know Terry, you and we spoke before on a conversation. Am I beautiful enough? Now I'm gonna bring a little bit of sample of that conversation back in because we're focusing this now on the women and what they have to bring to the situation. This big fan about everybody getting this big boob, this and big. Hold on. Just want to make sure everybody heard it. Everybody heard that?
We heard it.
But they don't care.
Right,
it's just
they
out there.
They have parties. They have booty injection parties now. So there's
they have Botox parties too.
And Botox parties. So now it's that's like weave in your hair. It was a hush hush thing, but now it's like, what do you have? I need some of that. So it's no taboo to say that you have false eyelashes or fake eye color or fake hair, fake nails.
You got to think about it. Even back in the day with Tina Turner and Ike and all them, they had wigs.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
But that was for entertainment purposes. Now it's about every day I get up, I'm on Snapchat, girl, I just got this booty implant, all this other stuff, and it's no secret anymore.
Right. Well, like our previous caller said, Jeff, society has changed the culture where that's number one important. How do I look?
Come on now. Come on. We got to talk about the responsibility of a woman in a relationship. Now, I've said it before. By the way, these snippets you are hearing from the Candy Internet Talk Show history back in 2008, 2009. And this one we just talked about was from 2017. Now, you know, women, we have to bear some responsibility here. We have a lot of pressure. And I said this before. We have a lot of pressure because we know men like to see physical attributes on a woman, like to be, you know, all the way there and represent him well. And that forces some women to alter their appearances. And when they're altering their appearances, they don't look the same anymore. See, it used to be one person, and now it's like 50 million other people who are doing that. And so what makes a woman special when they do that? How can they really stand out if they're looking like everybody else, looking like porcelain dolls and all this other stuff? And then now you have the 13 and 14-year-old girls wondering, man, these girls out here, their hair and their nails and everything's done laid more than mine is. What message are we sending to our women because of our men seeing what they see on the outside? Open up.
Well, Candy, I don't know if I agree with you totally. One is not forcing them. The desire for men to look at women isn't forcing a woman to go get 42 liters put in her butt. It doesn't force a woman to go get some minks and put on. The woman uses that lack of self-esteem to want a man to look at her and notice her all the time, that she goes to extremes to turn her head. Now, I don't know. When a woman is confident and comfortable in her skin, no makeup, no filter, we're clean, no makeup, no filter, we're decent, that's when men really are attracted to women, the ones who want to be happy and in a relationship. Now, the ones who just want a quick fix, they may want the one that look pretty good and everything. Not talking about people that are in a relationship who are sacrificing what they got, but you know, it doesn't force them. Women have to realize that what is the motive behind you doing this? You know, what is your motive behind doing this? And what are you saying? Are the two in agreement? Is what you're saying you're doing it for and the real reason you're doing it, do they align? You know, do I put the makeup on because I just like the way I look? Or do I put the makeup on because I want to count how many heads I turned today? So that just lets me know that I got an issue, because I should be comfortable in my skin. You know, there's some out there. There was a time that I was the bomb.com. My shape was on point. I'm 53, and time has put its fingerprint on me. And no matter how much cold cream I put on, the skin getting softer. No matter how much exercise I do, the butt don't sit as high as it used to. So, you know, I'm comfortable because my husband told me, and he's older, and he told me that seeing a woman get older and be touched with time is like seeing her coming into her fullness, into her fruition, you know, and it's a pleasure to see that. And so I used to be self-conscious, but as I worked on being that happier me all by myself and not holding him accountable to make me happy, I became comfortable with my body. And so I can go out and not worry about turning heads. And guess what happened? I turned heads still. I turned heads still. So, you know, we got to quit blaming the man. It's not a, why do they make us do this type deal? Time out for that. It ain't never got us nowhere. We've been saying that for a while. We've been hollering that for a while, and they ain't got us nowhere. So what are we saying to the women? We've been hollering for a while. The older women who are to teach the younger women have been saying, don't do it. But you got social media and, you know,
and that's what I'm talking about when I say
lack of guidance.
When I'm talking about that, though, Terry, I'm talking about the fact that when you see men, and I've said this before, when you see some men, whether it be industry, out of the industry, normal people, you know, they're fascinated by this big butt. They want, ooh, big booty. You know, you want to be in a video with these types of women, but then you're going home and you have someone who's natural than natural can be. So that's giving a perception of this man want this. He wants this. He's taking this woman to this party, and because she's got to represent. And what is that saying to, number one, not a person that's not even your woman, but then what is it saying to your woman or your wife, Brandon?
I mean, that's an interesting point. I think once again, going to being mature as a man, I mean, that's lust when you're looking at a woman like that. I gotta have her. I mean, and that's why I talk about, you know, men. We talk about training your eyes to stay forward. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you go to the gym, okay, you know what you're gonna see, but you have to learn how to train your eyes to not focus on that. If you go out to a happy hour or to rooftop or something, you have to remember that. I mean, and you're a married man or you're a man who has a woman at home. That's God's daughter you're looking at. It's God's daughter. And so if you're looking at her like, man, I gotta have that, then you've already violated your marriage. I mean, and if you're trying to pursue that. Now, let's say you have a situation at home where your spouse may not look like somebody you seek, but you need to be comparing, first of all, because it's just going to hurt your relationship. And that goes back to training yourself as a man. How do I roll? How do I function when I leave my front door? Because you got to come home to your wife. And I think the last thing I want to say, women, you need to make sure that you're meeting the needs of your man. Meaning, here's the thing. When your man leaves the home, he battles all day long. And so when he comes home, he should be coming home to his palace and to his queen. Meaning, just take care of your king. And you know, I think I've been married 14 years. My wife is still beautiful. I still get turned on by my wife. I still
you still
drive it on. Oh man. Because of my wife. Because I've learned to love only her. That makes sense. So right. I think but at the same time, women, just know you may not look like the person you are when you married your husband, but try to look like the person that married your husband. Meaning you going to the gym. You trying to take care of yourself.
Right.
Because and I'm gonna close with this. So your man's gonna run into an ex at the grocery store. He may be working with somebody who's single, who walks past him and smells his cologne. Smell good. And hopefully your man is strong enough that he's not giving in to that. But you got to know, I got to make sure I'm giving my man what he needs to be happy.
Right.
Ooh, okay, that's going to lead me into another situation. Now we're going to switch subjects. Now, but leading into that, what if he's not happy? So he does what? He goes out and steps out, right? Okay. Well, I'm going to give you a segment here from our Cheaters episode 2009. All right, so let's see what this is. So Brandon, this is Kenzie. I have a question. You were saying fulfilling needs and things like that. What can a woman do for a man? I'm asking because I hear a lot of men or a lot of boys or a lot of young guys say that my woman or my girlfriend wasn't fulfilling my needs. What exactly does that mean?
Well, what that means is that somewhere along the lines, homegirl just stopped doing what she did when they first started dating.
Yeah.
Brothers like stuff like this. You look good today, honey, or you smell good. I like your shirt. I like your tie. Can I do something for you? And one of the things is, there's a great book that I read called The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. And what it talks about is that everybody has a love language that likes to be expressed, whether it be gifts, compliments, time spent. If you're not speaking your spouse's or your significant other's love language, something is happening. Yeah. And they have a term where they call it the love tank. Your love tank is on empty. when somebody in the relationship is not in your love language. So I think women, they just need to keep in mind, look, there are other women out there that see your man, that want your man.
Come on now. Brandon?
Yeah.
Wasn't that what you were talking about? You got to keep it fresh like you did back in the day, because if you're not, I'm going to tell you what, we out there. We're prowling because we want to leave, right?
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy is that, and here's the thing, because you said, what if your woman is not meeting your needs? But here's the thing. A lot of people sign up for love with the expectation of just pleasure, right? But when you sign up for love, you're also agreeing to be hurt. Meaning this: if I'm getting married or I'm in a committed relationship with a person, it's not gonna always be happy and no. I mean, it ain't gonna be no abusive stuff to the extreme. I'm talking about when your marriage goes through trials, when your marriage goes through seasons, which they will happen. And I think people need to realize, how do we work on that? How do prime example. So there's this in the game. There's this discussion people still have about, should a married man or a man who's in a committed relationship have females as friends? My answer is no. Now, but you can have mutual friends, all of y'all. But here's the thing. Let's say your wife or your girlfriend makes you upset or doesn't meet your need. And then you got Janet over here, who you've known since high school, who may be married, who knows you married with children. You know you can call Janet, and Janet's going to listen and understand you and stroke your ego. But then let's say, hey, my wife went out of town for work, and Janet knows that. Hey, you want to go have lunch? Oh, yeah. Small compromises. All because you felt your girl didn't meet your needs. That's why you got to talk to each other. But yes, you should do those things. But here's the thing. I believe in counseling. I believe people need to find ways to work through that stuff, because I tell people all the time, any relationship that you see that has lasted some years, it's been tested.
Absolutely. If I can add to that, you know, I actually, Candy knows, but I'm an officiant, and so I marry couples. And one thing I tell them is that marriage is your opportunity to learn how to forgive. That's what marriage is about, is learning how to ultimately forgive. In the beginning, you'll say you forgive, but then you'll remember what happened. After a while, you'll learn how to forgive, and that ultimately releases you, and you become a happier person, period. Whether you're on your job, whether you at with your girls, whether you going out on a night, whether you shopping, whether you at home and not doing nothing, learning how to forgive. That's what marriages and relationships are about.
Yeah, you're right. It's about compromise.
Yeah.
Well, and I agree with you, but also the part that is a little shady, confusing, and concerning is because at what point are you going to forgive yourself for staying into a situation when you're talking about forgive? Because the first thing comes up is when someone cheats. Okay, you have men and women say, the first time you cheating on me, I'm gone. So are they really following the advice of forgive? Or then you have this one person, girl, I wouldn't have been staying with him after 20 times he done cheated on me. What you think he was going to do on the 21st? And then you consistently forgive.
Well, see, it's a mindset, Candy. Until you're ready to be in that mindset to be in a relationship, don't try to steal our stuff. Don't come over here in relationship world and wanting the benefits of a relationship, but you still in that single mindset mentality. No, we don't mess with that mess. You know, there's a point in time that, just like Brandon said, where men grow up from being boys to men, we mature as an adult in thinking, And some thoughts we let go after a while. I mean, Brandon, would you say that as your relationships mature, you find that you think differently? You know,
Oh yeah,
some
definitely,
things aren't worth casting a thought about.
definitely, yeah, yeah, I do.
And is it worth it that if you and your wife were to go through something, God forbid, that tomorrow she admits that she slept around on you while you were out of town the last time and wanted to be open with you? You built in some tools in your relationship to get through that. But if you hadn't built in the tools to get through that, it would falter, right?
Yeah, let me say this. So that would never happen. But I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. In terms of forgiveness, I think of Christ's forgiveness, but also nobody should be in a situation where they're being a doormat or they're being just no, nobody.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I have known married couples who have worked through cheating, but I have known married couples who got divorced. Because here's the thing: if you, I mean, that's a tough one because yeah, forgive people, but at the same time, your happiness matters. And for somebody to do that and then think they're gonna turn that off like that, no, because
Right.
like I said, I'm rewind. Before you get married, just like before I got married, it's some stuff that has to die completely. Like for example, every year, I'm a Kappa, so we have January 5th, all the noops get out. We celebrate. I get the pass from the wifey, but I'm looking at my watch. Hey, noops, it's time for me to go home. Why? Because even though I'm a grown man, but here's the thing, I can't do that no more. Some stuff I can't see, so I go home, and that's what I'm talking about. Because doing that will prevent you from being in a situation that's going to violate your marriage. I remember one time, and I'll give you an example. So early in our marriage, my wife, she spent a summer in Paris. I got to go visit her. The catch was she did a program. She's an educator, and I went for a week after 6 weeks. I remember I went out to Wine Divines on Thursday. I ran into somebody who I used to kick it with before I got married. And she was like, hey, let me get your number before you roll out. I cut out. I ain't even talk. I called my wife. It was 3 a.m. in France. I told her what happened. I didn't do nothing, but I'm being open with my wife because I'm a new creation, because I want to make it to 14 years. And we was just married a year. Now, we weren't even married 6 months. So, and that's just for me. It's
all about what you want and what your partner wants. Your partner in this relationship, in this life commitment, whatever it may be, whether you're getting married or you're not getting married, and you're saying, okay, we're gonna leave that aside, but we're still gonna build as a couple. I'm gonna switch to one more point, because I know with relationships we have a lot of different avenues we can touch. Now, because things are so out in the open now, we still have a part that needs to be discussed. This is from our download episode.
I'm a CL brother, married, 3 kids, and work for a major, well-known corporation throughout the world. I have multiple degrees in business, top of my class. I nearly make 7 figures. My wife is very beautiful. I love her, but she can't give me what I need. I think we kind of heard something about that last week. I need to be treated rough and be aggressive as well for the excitement and intensity. Oh, okay. All right. If my company found out I was DL, I could lose everything. My company promotes individuals with families, so I needed a good family. For my wife's sake, I do practice very safe sex, and what she doesn't know won't hurt her.
Okay. Talking about being open and having an open dialogue. Now, that was a clip from our 2008 Down Low audio show. I'm going to say this, guys. For all of the audio episodes and video episodes, make sure you subscribe to the Kandi Productions 2 website. Subscribe there, subscribe to your YouTube, go to the website. So go into the YouTube at Kandi Productions 2, that's the capital C and the number 2 on YouTube, or you can go to KandiProductions2.biz. Now, what do you guys think of that? You know, you're talking about being open, but we have to talk about this because it's not going to go away. You have men who love their wives, but they go and do some things that they know they're not really happy with. They know that their wife won't agree with it, or even the world for that matter, or whomever they feel that they're trying to impress. Let's talk about that. I mean, that's part of relationships. That's part of marriage. We have to think about that. You're talking about keeping an open dialogue now.
I'm gonna say this. When you are blatantly putting somebody's life in jeopardy, I'm gonna say that when you are knowingly putting someone's life in jeopardy, you have to ask yourself, who am I? Because if you're a good person, you will go home and tell your wife, hey, who you are, and then y'all need to do the paperwork so y'all get a divorce, and then you can go do your thing. Do not put your wife or your children in jeopardy. All right? I'm just keeping it 100. It's not right. Because you can't keep 1 foot over here and then 1 foot over here and think you're going to have peace. You're not. And that goes the same in heterosexual relationships. Mm-hmm. Because I've seen people in heterosexual relationships who have discovered their spouses was cheating, and they've had nervous breakdowns. They've lost weight. They mentally been destroyed. And then you have to ask yourself, am I happy with that? But my needs or my truth or my want, no. Man, you putting people's lives in danger. Because if she catch something, that's a felony. And you know it is. So, I'm done.
Kandi, I think that he's lying to himself in that letter. He doesn't love his wife because you're not going to use, he's only using her because of the job. So he does not love his family. And, you know, there's a lot of people like that don't value family, even their own children. So I can see through that. He's lying. He don't love her. But one thing that I have seen, just watching people around you, watching your family members, what's done in the dark eventually slow walks you down and comes busting out at the right time. Not just for some people. The solace for me and what makes me cool with not having to worry about what everybody's doing is that I know that it happens for everybody. Nobody's immune to the truth being exposed at its right time and season. Might not be when I want it to come out, but it's going to come out at the right time that it's going to impact him just like she's impacted, you know, because we serve a just creator. And all of this, he loves us all. But our choices come with consequences and repercussions. Remind me of life. You take my cornbread, you're going to have some consequences and repercussions. Well, same thing about life. We're not getting away scot-free. We're not going to get away scot-free. So he lying. He lying. And the truth ain't him. He don't love her. And somebody's going to tell her if she don't already know. And that's why Brandon needs to keep doing what he's doing, because there's a chance that she do know. And she's putting her own self through it because of the money from the job. It might be that almost 7 figures. Some women are greedy enough that they'll stay in a situation just so they can go ahead and get some red bottoms, just so they can go ahead and get the authentic Louis Vuitton. No, but you got people compromising like that. That's what makes it so interesting, you know. So many different kinds of people to rule the world. So everybody's not going to have true happiness like that, no, because everybody really don't want it, even though we all saying it. Only a certain few are walking the narrow walk.
Come on, come on. And you know what? Like I said, with relationships, we know we can touch on all different things. I did see a couple of comments. Someone said that during COVID it's just a little bit more harder, which I can agree, because I'm definitely nowhere near out there, and I'm not trying to be out there. But when I feel safe enough, what do I do? I'm trying to figure this out. You know, that's number one. And then number two, someone said, you know, it's a total disrespect of the marriage vows with the men stepping out. And we were talking specifically, I guess, about the down low. But whether it's a down low or you just, you know, going out and you doing your thing is heterosexual, you know, stepping out is still what some people might consider as being a disrespect, you know, to your vows. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to my co-host, Miss Terry.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you to my special guest, Brandon Jackson, relationship coach, who has his own platform. Go ahead and tell them how they can reach you, Brandon.
Yeah, you can reach me at Grown Conversations, GROWN _ with a K, Conversations. You can shoot me a text, 317-778-9420, 317-778-9420. One more time, 317-778-9420 if you want to set up a Zoom counseling session. First one is complimentary. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Candy Show, guys. Make sure you, again, subscribe to the YouTube page, Candy Productions 2, capital C with the number 2. Go to the website, www.candyproductions2.biz. Yo, check this out. We have a basketball challenge, and that's called the Candy Shots Challenge. Make sure you guys tune in, get on the website, find out more details about that, share, like, invite people to come on, because we want to have some grown conversations here every once in a while. You know, we're grown. So, guys, thank you so much. Stay safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.